This global showpiece is now at the halfway stages, or halfway, at least into the pool stages, with quarterfinal permutations already a conversation. Of course, a lot of people hoping that the Boks do not meet the All Blacks just yet in this knockout round. But we can only but wait and see how the Springboks and Ireland are going to be finishing in the pool stages. Now, joining us to have a conversation about what we can expect tonight in this top of the rankings clash between the Springboks and the Irish, we are joined by former Bok utility player, that is Brent Pocket Rocket Russell, who donned the Springbok jersey 23 times, scoring 40 points for his country. Brent, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making the time to join us this morning on a day that I think a lot of rugby fans around the world are expecting a great action. They're very excited about what it is that's going to be happening out on that field today. Just your expectations as somebody who has played the game of rugby, understands the game of rugby, and definitely loves his country.
Yeah, good morning, and thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, obviously this game tonight is probably the game of the tournament so far. It's much anticipated between us. We knew this was going to be our big game of the pool stages, as for Ireland too. So what I'm expecting is a clash of the titans out there this evening. No doubt, the pressure's on. The media's hyped up. There's a lot of talk going around, and maybe that's just exactly what Rassie wants. But certainly, we've got to now put the talking to bed and show them that we are actually world champions still. So expect a humdinger tonight. Yeah.
Brent, this is not a do or die match. Nothing happens to us if we lose this match in terms of our progression in this competition. So is it really that important to be so fixated on ensuring that we beat Ireland? Is it because they're the world #1 team in terms of the rankings? Is it because they've recently beaten the All Blacks in the All Blacks' backyard? Is it because they got the Grand Slam? Is it because we are the world champions? Is it because Rassie Erasmus says we are winners and that's all we need to know about? We must never entertain the idea of ever losing. Is it really that important to be so fixated on this victory when it's just a pool stage match?
Yeah, I still think it's a test match and it's a World Cup, and you don't like losing a game in the World Cup. This is a great test for us to test our mettle against the best team, rated the best team in the world at the moment. So certainly we want to win this one. I certainly don't mind who we play, because either game in France or New Zealand is. So for us, it's just about getting the system right. It's about us playing a good game of rugby, winning, and ideally, if we can win this one comfortably and play to our game, I think that'll take a lot of confidence going into the playoff stages. Just out of no doubt for Ireland, this is a must-win game. If you can put Ireland in their situation, they've got another tough game after us. So they've got to win this one and then go on and beat Scotland. So they're under a lot more pressure than what they are for us. So if we can keep that pressure on them, have a good performance. Yes, it's maybe not a do or die game, but certainly in our minds, this is a must-win game. So that's my thoughts on it.
A lot of talk has been about that bench. Jacques Nienaber and Rassie Erasmus once again doing the unconventional, doing what has gone on to upset quite a lot of people, in fact, on social media with that 7-1 split. The coaching staff are essentially saying, we're going to play to our strengths, and our strength is we're going to break you, in that forwards department. That's what we're good at. That's what we're bulldozers. So we're not going to try and play smart rugby and try and do very fancy things. We're going to beat you where we know how to beat you. We're going to beat you where we beat England to the world title. What are your thoughts on the 7-1 split? Do you think that in the bigger scheme of things, where the game of rugby is concerned, that it's good rugby to put your replacements like that?
Look, I think it is it's clever rugby because it makes other people think about us, and so it's certainly created a little bit of a hype. Yes, we are playing to our strengths on this, and we are dominating there in world rugby. So I'd like to see us continually putting pressure on other sides through our strength in the forwards, And yes, it was a famous 7-1 split against the All Blacks, no doubt that's in the back of everyone's mind that we are arriving with the same mentality of playing in the All Blacks game, and that's going to put fear in anyone else's team, in any other team, knowing that they're going to face how many forwards? 15 forwards in the day. But I always say, if I was playing, I'd probably want to be that one man on the bench for the backs, with my versatility. So, yeah, a big role for the backs in that we just want to do the basics and make sure that obviously there's no injuries, because at the end of the day we've got cover through some of the forwards. So I think it's great to see the 7-1 split in this game. I don't know about future games, but play to our strengths, I say. Huh?
Brent, let's look at the backs. You know, there's been quite a bit of chatter about the struggles of Manie Libbok in terms of his kicking. So much so that his captain has come out in his defense to say that, listen, you're not going to be perfect at everything, right? So Manie knows how to marshal a game. He knows how to control the tempo of a game, as any great fly half should do. But then also a great fly half, like we've seen with Handré Pollard in the World Cup 4 years ago, you also need to be really good at kicking, because those 3 points or those conversions will play a big part when, you know, it comes down to those fine margins in terms of winning. Is it really fair on Manie to criticize him for, you know, his kicking not being as perfect as many would have expected it to be? Or, like, should we really be saying that, okay, Manie can do what Manie does best. There is everybody else that knows how to kick. Faf knows how to kick. Cheslin knows how to kick. Damien Willemse himself is not too bad with the boots. So let's allow everybody to use their strengths as well as they can. Are we being unfair in our criticism of Manie's kicking ability?
That's a difficult one. I mean, traditionally, South Africans, they always like to identify weaknesses in players, or should I say teams, you know. So for me, I'm a firm believer of, you find a strength in a player and you enhance it, and the weaknesses will follow. I mean, Manie's not a bad kicker. He really isn't a bad kicker. Maybe he's missed 1 or 2 and the pressure's on him at the moment. But he brings so much more other strengths to the team, you know, and we are playing a totally different game that we were playing in 2019. So I would like to see us enhance our strengths, and one of those strengths is running the ball. And you know what? Maybe we are lacking a little bit in the place kicking side, but come finals, and that, you know what? If we, you'll probably find you'll get 100 out of 100. You know, that's how good he can be. Point I'm saying is, let's rather focus on the strengths and not where our weaknesses are. At the end of the day, the weaknesses will pick up if we can just play to our strengths. So I don't want to focus on negatives. Certainly don't want the coaching. And that's what Rassie and Ninaba are very good at. They're very good at identifying strengths in players. So now it's actually getting them to play to those strengths and playing at their best of performance. And don't worry about the kicks. You know, I mean, if we can score an extra try, yes, I understand winning a World Cup final, you need to be on point. But let's get to the World Cup final first.
That's very important. Let's get to that World Cup final first before we start criticizing people about a World Cup final that we probably may not get to. Well, you know, God forbid we do not get to it. But Brent, Handré Pollard, is his inclusion necessary? Is he going to be bringing what it is that we need as a Springbok team? Do we even need a Handré Pollard? Could we have maybe gone with another forward to replace Malcolm Marx?
That's quite difficult, because we've got 2 key positions in the back line that are, I mean, not in the backs, in the team. One at hooker, which is instrumental, and one at fly half, which is absolutely instrumental. So having a guy like Handré Pollard come back into the squad, for me, is bringing experience. It's bringing stability. It's bringing a different dynamic to what maybe Manie can bring to the team. So I would like to see him being included, obviously, as long as he is performing. Secondly, having another hooker in the team, I don't know. I mean, maybe we can get Faf or one of the scrum halves to learn to throw the ball in from the lineout. But for me, it is a tough one. We've got 2 big positions. We're missing a Malcolm, and we're missing a Pollard too now. So we'd like to see one of the others come in. Obviously, it can't be Malcolm. But stability in the backs might be the case if we get a Pollard back in. I can't tell you which is best for the team at this present time.
We've played 2 matches in this World Cup. It's been against Scotland, who are a threatening side. You know, we need to give them the respect that they deserve. And then we've also played a Romania, of course, that I think a lot of these big teams, if not all the teams, they're going to be steamrolling them. So that's not really where I think the Springboks can look at whether or not they're coming along right. But of these two games, given what you've seen as a rugby man, do you feel like the Springboks are on the right track, or that there are still quite a number of things that we need to get right by the time we hit that knockout stage?
Look, I think we're definitely on the right track. I think we've got to also put a good performance in tonight, which is part of the step forward to being on the right track. So, as I said, this game has been much anticipated. We knew this was the main game. We've managed to beat Scotland, and that was always going to be a sticky game. So this will give us a good indication of whether we're on the right track or not. I do still want to see a little bit more of Esterhuizen and maybe a Moody on the field. Just bring that little bit of excitement, but I don't want to give too much away. I know the coaches have got that in the back mind, and the tournament is still long. So let's get through this game, then we'll identify if we're on the right track. Like you say, it's not a do or die game, but in our minds, we want to get onto the right track, and that's winning this one.
South Africa is a sport-mad nation, addicted to winning, so every test match, even though it is just a warm-up or a friendly, is a test match that South Africa, especially when they're holding the title of world champions, must definitely win. Brent, we'll leave it there with you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I hope that you do enjoy watching that game where you are as well. That is former Springbok utility player Brent Pocket Rocket Russell joining us just to look ahead to this all-important pool stage match between the world champions, South Africa, up against the world #1 ranked team, Ireland. It's happening at 9 o'clock tonight.